Harry, this is Lord Potato, and this is what if Yuji Itadori was the son, well, Gojo's son mostly, was Gojo's son. So yeah, part two, and it's been a month, so I might have to do a recap, and what's it called? Also, go subscribe to my channel, I kind of what ifs, Obito what ifs, links will be in the description, but other than that, let me begin into this recap, and I will do a timer of when recap ends. But other than that, maybe not, don't care. But yeah. But let's begin in this recap. So, Yuji Itadori, also known as Yuji Itadori Gojo, who is actually the son of Gojo Satoru. But yeah. Now, of course, last time what happened is that Yuji kind of was at school with his best friend named Junko. I forgot what I called Junko's last name, but yeah, Junko. This is where, well, Junko is this girl with blondish hair, dull blue eyes. Of course, she was like 5'6", like 5'6.5". Of course, this is where Yuji is actually like just 6 feet. Of course, he has dark shade glasses, and of course his hair is like mixed with white and pink, and also has some black hair around the side of his head. Of course, this is where Yuji, he covered up his eyes because he never liked showing them. Of course, Junko knows a little bit about them, but not much. But of course, this is where Yuji does kind of like talk to Junko in the school and all that. Of course, this is where they went towards see Yuji's grandfather. Yuji's grandfather died because, yeah, he was finally that old and he wanted to die. He didn't tell anything about, well, Yuji didn't want to learn anything about his father. So, of course, when they were going to the movies, because they had a plan to go to the movies, they felt the cursed energy. They went to the school. They saw Fujigoro trying to fight against the cursed spirit. Well, cursed spirits. Another cursed spirit appears. An imperfect cursed spirit appears. That was Sukuna, the one that kind of ate Sukuna's finger. So yeah, it was another one trying to get, well, the Sukuna finger that Fujigoro has. This is where Yuji kind of tells Fujigoro to go bring them to the hospital and all that, while Yuji deals with the, well, cursed figure or whatever, cursed imperfect or whatever. Of course, Yuji was about to start using lightning in his hands, or legs mostly, to try to kick at the, well, curse, what's it called? The curse. And of course, this is where, I mean, not the curse, the cursed spirit. Of course, he told Junko to go, but this is where the cursed spirit dodged, kind of ran, not through them, past them, trying to get to our Fujigoro to kind of get the Sukuna finger. Gojo appears, knocking the cursed spirit away. This is the cursed spirit rushes to Junko instead. This is where Yuji was about to do something until Gojo appears and fully killed it. But yeah, and took the finger. Of course, Junko and Yuji had to get out of there until Yuji met Gojo. When Yuji jumped off the school, Junko kind of took the stairs, and this is where Yuji met Gojo. Gojo explains that he wants to know who he is exactly. Yuji did not want to show anything until he showed his eyes and kind of told Gojo about his last name, being named Itadori. This is where Gojo remember a girl who he used to kind of date, and yeah, and of course this is where, well, you can remember her being pink hair, kind of black also, but also having red eyes. This is where, well, her name was Yuki Itadori. This is where, well, Gojo wanted to see if Yuji was really his son, and of course found out after seeing his eyes. This is where Yuji did not really, he was angry at the fact that he found out Gojo was his father. After 16 years of not knowing who his father was, he kind of gave up and thinking he's dead. This is where, well, he just found out he's just a deadbeat, but yeah. This is where, well, Gojo kind of disappeared after going to go help Fujigoro from Cursed Spirit because they're still going after him for the Sukuna fingers. Of course, this is where, well, Yuji asked Junko the next day about when they're kind of like cremating Yuji's grandfather. This is where I asked her about if she wants to go to Jujutsu High after Gojo kind of told him. This is where Junko nodded. Of course, they were going to school, kind of just saying bye to some people. A girl tackled Yuji down, who had pinkish, well, lightish pinkish hair, some purple highlights, and of course her eyes were, I'm gonna say, one was purple, one was blue. Okay, I just want to say that they were kind of mixed match, but yeah. Of course, she was 5 point. Well, let me say again. She was 5 feet 5.6. But yeah, this is where she was the same height as Junko. This girl was named Suki, and of course, she asked Gojo if she can come along. Gojo said, "Sure, why not?" This is where Suki did come along to Jujutsu High, Tokyo Jujutsu High. This is where they did kind of pass the test, and of course, this is where Yuji kind of met Fujigoro again, and Fujigoro says, "Wait, he's your son." He kind of asked Gojo. Gojo disappeared on him, and Fujigoro was pissed. Yuji and, the Suki and Junko. Junko and Suki were kind of taking the other room beside, not Gojo, Yuji. And of course, Yuji kind of nodded, knowing that they were going to do that. This is where, that happened, and of course, this is where Gojo kind of talked to the older man, the principal, about Yuji. This is where, that happened. So, this is where the recap ends, like 6:18. But yeah, let's begin into this what if now. But of course, this is where, the next day happened. Of course, they did kind of go to sleep, but the next day happened. And of course, Gojo kind of brought him towards Tokyo to meet a girl named Nobara. But yeah. Of course, Nobara was confused in why the team is kind of like contains of 4 people instead of just being 2. But she realized there's 2 extra girls on the team. And of course, this is where the 2 extra girls are kind of just being next to Yuji and being really close to him. This is where Nobara was confused, and Gojo explains that Yuji is just very popular with the girls. This is where Yuji kind of glares at, Gojo. And of course, this is where Suki smiles, saying, "I mean, he's not wrong." Junko says, "And he's not right at the same time." This is where Fujigoro is just like they're kind of using phone texting or something. I don't know what he's doing. But this is where, Gojo says, "But other than that, we're going to Tokyo." This is where they weren't in Tokyo yet, but they were going to Tokyo. The city's Tokyo, I think so. This is where, Nobara says, "Yeah, Tokyo." This is where Junko and Suki decided also, and this is where Yuji says, "Yeah." This is where Fujigoro says, "Okay." This is where they go to the same building about the testing, and of course, this is where Gojo says, "So, Yuji, you are actually going to be, tested in another building. Suki, Junko, and Nobara, you 3 will be going into the building, okay? To test your skills and defeating some of the cursed spirits, okay?" This is where all of them nodded. This is where, Junko was going, and Suki also, and even Nobara. Suki and Junko has never gotten along that well. And Nobara, since she is also kind of there, she's not really getting along with them neither. So where, they all split up. Of course, Junko kind of going into another room, Suki doing the same, and Nobara doing the same. So where, Suki kind of like, she sees a cursed spirit, and this is where she starts using her cursed spirit. Well, not cursed spirit, cursed energy. Her cursed energy is a different, how should I say? Her cursed energy, ability is to make, this is where, her cursed energy, she creates something in thin air, and it's flowers. This is where, they kind of, when she throws the flowers at the cursed spirit, it explodes in an instant. This color of flowers were kind of like a purplish color. This is where Suki says, at least I'm not rusty in it still. That's where we go into Junko. Junko, she finds like 3 cursed spirits, and of course this is where she can feel despair from all 3 of them. This is where she gets stronger, and this is where one of her eyes becomes a little tinctures of red. This is where she crushes them all in an instant. Nobara kind of just uses her hammer and nails to kind of destroy the puppet one. Well, not the puppet one. Yeah, the mannequin one. And of course, this is where, she realized that she was kind of, trapped in a hostage situation with the other one. This is where, the kid was kind of crying, but yeah. Of course, this is where, Junko says, "Damn," not Junko, this is where Nobara says, "Damn, I'm gonna have to let go of the hammer and other things. But this is where Junko, who was behind that wall, kicked the wall down. Of course, kicking the spirit away, and the spirit also lets go of the little kick. This is where the spirit widens his eyes and tries to run away. This is where, before I even ran away, a flower pierces like his arm and destroys, well, not one of his arms, just kind of split it off. This is where the cursed spirit widens his eyes and start trying to run away. This is where it managed to get away, but this is where Nobara kind of uses her nails and puppet connection, whatever. And of course, is where she kind of nailed the hell out of the cursed spirits, like in original canon. This is where, well, the cursed spirit is dead, and this is where both, Gojo is surprised, Fujiwara is also surprised, Yuji's kind of surprised. This is where I should mention Yuji still has his shades, his dark shade glasses. Even Gojo wanted to kind of make Yuji to kind of use a blindfold instead of dark shade glasses. Yuji doesn't want to, because he does not want to show any resemblance towards Gojo, because yeah, he doesn't really like Gojo. This is where, well, Gojo sighs and say fine. This is where, well, we go into another building. Of course, this is where, well, this building has stronger cursed spirits. Yuji's going in it by himself. Fujiwara says, this is a bad idea, Gojo. Gojo says, no, it's not. Let's see what he can do. This is where Junko and Suki were about to go in, and Gojo kind of stopped them. They say, hey. No, it's just Yuji's test. Don't worry about it. So where Junko and Suki were kind of getting worried about it. So, of course, this is where, well, Yuji is inside, and of course, he's looking around. He sees so many cursed spirits. This is where so many of them rushes at Yuji. Yuji says, curse energy, flame of destruction. He sends a giant burst of flames from his hand, just swiping his left hand straight towards them. This is where they all decide to explode in fire. Now, this fire was actually, well, just a normal orangey kind of reddish fire. Fire. And of course, this is where Yuji was going through them. And this is where Yuji sees multiple of them and sees that it's a room full of so many of them. So this is where he says, lightning, well, cursed energy. Well, not cursed energy. He says, lightning barrage. This is where he appears and disappears and then just appear again. This is where all the, well, cursed spirits were destroyed in an instant with this lightning at cursed energy. This is where he says, I just gotta go find more. This is where Gojo, he had his blindfold off and he noticed the two attacks that Yuji did. One was lightning and one was fire. This is where Gojo was thinking, so he does have it. He does have those. Interesting, he does have that power. Huh. Even though he, well, what's it called? He thinks, even though Yuki only has fire, it looks like he has lightning. Interesting. This is where Yuji is like appearing in front of multiple cursed spirits and defeating them all pretty easily. This is where one cursed spirit tries to attack him from behind, and this is where Gojo widens his eyes. Yuji kind of used, well, Limitless. This is where Yuji kind of found out how to use Limitless, but not much. This is where, well, he stopped the attack, and this is where he kicks the cursed spirit with a lightning kick. This is where Gojo is so impressed with his son. His son is so skilled. Really skilled. Now, Yuji hasn't used his eyes for a second. He's using mostly Limitless, lightning, and fire. This is where, well, one cursed spirit was very strong than the others. This cursed spirit looked to be, well, having multiple eyes, having 4 arms, like, and he was strong, he was buff. Than the other cursed spirit that Yuji was fighting. This is where this cursed spirit kind of roars at Yuji. Yuji felt the powerful cursed energy coming from him. This is where Yuji takes off his glasses and starts kind of rubbing his eyes for a second. This is where he opens both of them at the same time, showing his dark blue crystallized eye in one, his mostly left eye, but having a purple kind of shade to it. This is where in the other eye, it's crimson red, but having purple and having a star, a white star. Is where Yuji says, "It seems that I will have to fight you in full power." It's where Yuji, he kind of, with his right hand was kind of flowing in cursed energy until something happens. A little mark just was there in his palm, and something poofed out of it. A sword. This kind of whitish, blackish, glowish sword. Mostly it was a white sword, but had like this kind of starry night glow effect to it, like what's called like like an aura to it. But yeah, as where Yuji, I should mention that his purplish crystallized blue eyes had the white tint behind his eyes, and yeah, but the red one had a black tint. Let's see where Yuji kind of rushes at this cursed spirit. This is where the cursed spirit dodges the slash. But of course, one of his arms gets cut in an instant, even though he thought he dodged it. Yuji has, the special interesting sword that allows to, even though it misses an attack, it will still hit its target, even if it's like back very far. This is where it kind of like elongates a little bit, but not that it shows that much. This is where, Yuji says, interesting. You managed to almost dodge, but it seems you almost got cut. Huh. Pathetic. This is where, the cursed spirit rushes at Yuji, intending to kick at him. This is where Yuji blocks it with his own lightning kick, and then burns the cursed spirit by grabbing it in one of his arms and burning it. This is where he says, cremated burn. This is where he burns the, cursed figure by burning, the stump of the arm that was one that was cut, and the other arm, and of course the cursed spirit screams in agony pain. This is where Yuji says, divine punishment sword. This is where, not divine punishment, he says divine punishment. His sword becomes a darker shade, but of course it glows white. Like, instead of the darker auras does glow, like it becomes darker, and the sword becomes more whiter. So where Yuji, his eyes start pulsating with power. This is where Yuji says, divine punishment, what's it called? Not perish. Divine punishment perish. This is where he stabs the cursed spirit in the middle, and this is where a huge blast of both light and dark power explodes from the cursed spirit, obliterating in an instant. This is where Yuji kind of like just stand there, and of course he kind of puts the sword back. And this is where, the building that exploded, and yeah. This is where Yuji says, time to go. This is where Yuji started walking away, but yeah. This is where, Gojo widens his eyes and says, what the? His power is truly like hers. Similar, but not much. And similar like mine, but he's more powerful. This is where Gojo smiles, this evilish smile. Smile. Because he wants to know, would Yuji be able to use the Limitless way better than, he's using it right now? Just like himself. He's thinking if he can teach Yuji to kind of use Limitless like himself, like to make a barrier around it. Of course, where Yuji is kind of walking out. And this is where both Suki and, Junko jump on him and say, are you okay? Are you okay and all that? This is where, Yuji says, I am. Don't worry about it, girls. I'll be fine. This is where Junko and Suki kind of hugs him even more because they were scared. Because they did hear that attack. Well, not attack name, mostly the attack blast radius. This is where Yuji says, I'll be fine. Don't worry about it. This is where he kind of pets both of them in the head, but yeah. This is where, Yuji kind of was bleeding a little bit from his mouth. Of course, he kind of just pushes the blood away, and this is where he just smiles at them. This is where, Gojo says, I see, so he does have a limit a little bit. A limit that might be a little bit difficult, but still can be overcome. This is where, we go into Yuji being somewhat in the, introduced to high, but being in the medical room. Being healed by, Being healed by reverse curse energy by Shoko. This is where Yuji says, interesting, what is that? This is where Shoko says, reverse curse energy. There's curse energy and there's reverse curse energy. I'm pretty good at using reverse curse energy, that's why I'm a doctor. This is where she says, but you look so interesting. Look so like I seen you or seen someone be kind of look like you. You remind me of Gojo, but at the same time of Yuki. Wait, this is where Yuji says, you know my mother? This is where Shoko says, wait, your mother? Wait, Yuki? Yuki had a child? Where is she? This is where Shoko's kind of shaking Yuji. Yuji saddened, saying, she died when she gave birth to me. This is where Shoko saddened. But this is where she says, wait, I never know she had a son. She had a son. Who was the father? This is where Gojo walks in and says, hey, Shoko, hey, Yuji. This is where Shoko says, you can't be fucking serious. This is where Gojo says, huh? What? Of like a little knife, like, you know those doctors that kind of use knives and all that to kind of cut into people and all that? A knife just kind of fly past him. This is where Gojo just sweat drops. This is where, well, Gojo says, hey, Shoko, what are you? Shoko seems pissed. Very pissed. Very annoyed. She says, you bastard. You're the reason why she had a kid. She's died because of you, you fucking bastard. You did something terrible to her. This is where Gojo realized that Shoko was basically what's it called, Yuki's best friend. Well, kind of Yuki's best friend, but yeah, they were really good friends. And this is where Gojo realized, ah, shit, did she find out? Shit. This is where she says, she died. And where the fuck were you? Oh, fucking somewhere. I don't know where the hell you were at, but look at your son. He seems so similar to you and also Yuki, but what you did is terrible. You neglect him, didn't you? That's what Gojo said. I didn't even know I had a kid. What the hell do you want me to do? Yuki didn't tell me anything. This is where Shoko said, and you should have kept in contact with her. You should call her, seeing where she was. She was on vacation. I wouldn't like to annoy her. You remember the last time what happened when I kind of annoyed her and about her vacation. This is where we go into a flashback of when they were younger. This is where Shoko was kind of talking towards, well, Yuki. And Yuki was saying, my vacation was pretty good. Gojo appears, who was a younger Gojo, saying, so Yuki, how was that vacation? Huh? So where, well, Yuki was getting quite annoyed with Gojo. This is where Gojo had shades right now. Well, and kind of back then, not his like blindfold. He had shades. And of course he did, huh? This is where, well, Yuki was getting really pissed that her hair was pink and highlighted black, right? But of course her hair decided to become a little bit reddish color. Her eyes becoming red, and this is where she says, shut up! This is where she sent a very powerful fire attack that actually burns limitless, and of course Gojo realizes and dodges the attack. Holy shit, didn't know you can burn that. So cute. This is where Yuki says, I will burn you to hell. This is where Shoko says, you will never listen, Gojo. This is where Gojo says, huh? What do you mean? Oh shit! Pfft. Another fire attack almost hits him in the head, but yeah. His hair gets a little singed, and this is where Gojo says, burns. This is where Yuki says, shut up. I'm not telling you anything. This is where, well, Gojo says, so mean. But we go back into the present time. This is where, Yuji, who is right now kind of like laying in the hospital bed a little bit, but yeah, because he was still tired. Or, well, not in her room mostly. He was kind of put in another room so he could just lay down and rest. And of course, this is where Gojo says, well, that's why I don't want to contact her and make her get angry at me again. This is where, well, Shoko says, but how the hell did you have a kid with her? You and her were so opposite. So, different from each other. She was very strong and powerful just because she worked hard. She wasn't born with gifted powers. Actually, she was, why. But the reason why I'm asking this is how the fuck did you two have a child? This is where Gojo says, my good looks, I managed to swing her over to my side. This is where Shoko says, bleh. Yeah, right, Gojo. I refuse to believe that. Gojo says, fine. Me and her, I think, had a very, very kind of drinking problem. We kind of had a drunken time. This is where Shoko realized what happens. This is where Shoko says, and you couldn't control your damn urges? Gojo says, I couldn't, okay? She was very, I should say, adorable. This is where Shoko almost stabs him again. This is where Gojo says, hey, calm down. This is where Shoko's pissed. She died? I wouldn't even blame the kid. I'm blaming you. You're the fucking reason. And what you did is didn't even tell me you had a child with her. And you didn't tell me. I could have helped him. I could have helped him with mental problems and all that. What I'm trying to right now. Yeah, when he's 16, about to turn 18 in 2 years. He's going to be out of your grasp in 2 years. You realize that. When he's 18, he gets to do whatever he wants to. You, on the other hand, will not have a very say in his life. I wonder who was the one to kind of, take care of him. This is where Shoko says, that's it, Yuki's father. This is where Gojo says, wait, Yuki had a father? Yes, you idiot. This is where Gojo says, oops. You moron. She had a father. Her mother died, but her father was still alive. Now you realize, the one thing that she was a part of, her father might have not been from a clan, but her mother was. And you know why she was that powerful. And now to see Yuji being kind of mix of two bloods, one being from the Gojo clan and the other one being from the false name of Itadori. This is where, Gojo says, oh. I guess you can say that. This is where, Shoko says, you realize he's going to be such a powerful child. Well, I mean, he already is. His eyes are different from yours. And seems to be way more powerful than yours. 6 eyes. What do you want to call them then? Gojo says, what do you want to call them, Shoko? Shoko says, I'm not him. He should be the one to call them by a name. Now shut up already. This is where, Gojo says, I guess so. So, what was actually the real name of Yuki's last name? This is where Shoko gets annoyed. A check mark. And this is where Gojo says, what was the real name of Yuki? This is where Shoko gets a check mark. And she says, you didn't even know about her real name? You fucking moron. Fine. Her real name is, instead of being Itadori, was, this is where she says her name was Akionomenjio. This is where, meaning in English morning star, but yeah. This is where Gojo says, interesting. So wait. This is where Shoko says, let me cut you off first. You realize that there's 3 powerful clans. The Gojo clan, the the Gojo clan, the Kamo clan, and even the Zenin clan. You realize there's 3 clans. You realize there was always a 4th one. It was just more of an ancient clan. Since, yes, the clans are ancient, but the 4th one was called the Myono Star. That clan was actually compared to be strong enough like the Gojo clan. Now, of course, she was from that clan, but of course, the clan died about 1,000 years ago, so yeah. But of course, she's a descendant from that clan, and now Yuji's a descendant from that clan even more. And also being mixed with your blood, making him way stronger than any of the 3 clans combined together. if he figured out how to use his power. Gojo says, I guess so. Does that mean he will be stronger than Sukuna himself? Well, since that clan was actually supposed to be stronger than Sukuna himself, I guess you can say he'd be stronger than Sukuna when he gets older and stronger. So this is where Gojo smiles and says, good. I want always a strong son. And I hope you fucking take care of him for 2 years. 2 years more. He will be a third year when he becomes 18. But I should mention one thing. Take care of Yuki's child, or I'm gonna get, well, you know who else. And so where Shoko says, I will get Urahime to help me fucking take you down and get rid of you. This is where Gojo says, oh right, I forgot Urahime was also friends with Yuki. Yeah, we were all best friends. You bastard. This is where Gojo says, come on, don't blame me like that. This is where Shoko says, whatever. Take care of your son. This is where Gojo says, oh, also I should mention, just like me, how I was a playboy, he's also a playboy because he has 2 girls. This is where Shoko almost throws something at Gojo. This is where Shoko says, that's not because of your looks. That's just because probably that's Yuki's looks. She was a very adorable girl. And like you were just an asshole and always annoying. This is where Gojo's like, so mean. This is where Shoko says, but get out. This is where, well, Gojo says, fine. So where would a Yuji be? I'm not telling you now, get the fuck out. This is where Gojo says, damn it. But yeah. Now, the next day happens, and of course they went to do a little bit more missions about kind of getting rid of some cursed spirits, but yeah. But other than that, I'm going to be leaving it off here for part 2 of what if Yuji Itadori was Gojo's son. But yeah, other than that, have a nice potato day, potato night, potato sleep, potato, but yeah. So bye-bye.